let Amazon do the heavy lifting. Let Amazon do the marketing. I get on my homepage of Amazon and I see dozens of products that I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I want to buy. And then I'll just go like buy the whole homepage or whatever. But you get what I'm saying? Like they're really, really good, and they have these really advanced marketing algorithms that I don't even understand. And it's like, why would I want to go and try to do my own thing over here when it's like Amazon's made to do exactly that?
What's going on, everybody, on YouTube and iTunes? Steve Raiken here. Welcome to episode number 21 of the Raiken Profit Show. Today we have Jordan Kilburn on the show, and he has a YouTube channel as well called Millionaire Millennial. And if you guys aren't following him, you definitely got to check him out. He's actually going to be hitting 100,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel probably any day. So by the time this is out, I'm going to congratulate your future self, Jordan, for hitting 100,000 subscribers. But Jordan's been in the game for a while. He makes a lot of videos about Amazon and private label, and he's had quite the journey so far. So I want to introduce you to the show, and maybe you can fill in the blanks a little bit about kind of how you got started in this game and where you are now.
Sure, totally. Well, thanks so much for having me on. It's honestly an honor. I've been watching your videos since before I even started Amazon, so it's cool to come on your show.
Welcome, man. So who are you, man, and kind of how did you get started in, you know, this reselling space? Because we all have a story of kind of where we started. Some people have motivations of they're broke, or maybe their husband or the wife lost a job, or maybe it's freedom. What's your story?
My story's pretty, it's not super unique. It's probably most people's, but maybe it's a little unique. I don't know. I graduated college, started working. Was actually an engineer. So it's not like, money was a motivator, because I was making plenty of money as an engineer. I just kind of it was like always wanted to work for myself kind of thing. So, that was what really motivated me, is not having to go to work at 7:30 in the morning every day, wearing the same clothes, seeing the same people, doing the same job. So I just started kind of looking around. I was like, how do I make money online? Because that's like the hottest thing right now is, making money from the comfort of your own home. Stumbled across selling on Amazon, launched my first private label product a little over a year ago, and quit my job in January of this year and just have not looked back. I forget what it's like to have a job most days.
You don't miss fighting traffic every morning?
No, not at all. I mean, I live pretty close, but still, having to get in the car, it's freezing cold, it's just not fun.
So that's interesting. So you had a really, really good job as an engineer, and was that the previous job you were working as an engineer full time?
Yeah, that's really, I've had lots of jobs in like high school and college, but that was my first got out of college, my real career type job. So you're working this full time job. You're obviously making good money. Are you stressed out at this job? Or are you kind of like unhappy? Or are there things that you're like? Are you seeing other friends or other entrepreneurs or what? It was like not being able to control my actions or my own future. I was kind of at the hands of my bosses. I actually enjoyed the work, to be honest. I liked the engineering work I did. I designed electrical systems for buildings. So if you've ever been to a Panda Express or Panera Bread or a Gold's Gym, I designed a lot of the electrical systems for all over the country. So it was a cool job. But again, it was just the scheduling and being under the influence of someone else, not getting to pick my own projects, doing things the way the company told me to do them, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits of kind of having your own business, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people want to do it. I mean, obviously people want money, but the freedom to be able to just kind of design your schedule is it's absolutely priceless. So here you are, you're kind of you want more freedom, you want to design your life more. Maybe there's things you want to do that you can't at certain times. How do you get in? How do you start to learn about this opportunity with private label? Because you said that was it private label? You launched your first private label product a year ago. Did you start with retail arbitrage or thrifting, or did you work your way into it?
So I was in a good situation where I had extra money, from my job, and I was able to put that down into a private label. I still actually borrowed some money from my parents to restock the private label because it actually sold out pretty fast. But I didn't do any arbitrage first. And I know that's where a lot of people start, and that's still what I recommend new people start with, especially if you don't have a lot of money, because you want to diversify. And if I were to start over, I probably would have actually started with arbitrage, because when you do one private label, you're sinking all of your money and hopes into that one product. And so when you do arbitrage, you're buying like, maybe 10 units of 100 different products, diversifying that risk. But I did do my proper research, my due diligence, and did find a good product to sell. And I'll say what it is because I don't sell anymore because they're patented. It was this
sweet
inflatable couch. I don't know if you've seen them around, but like you run around, it's like a bag and you roll it up and it's like an inflatable couch. And yeah, the patent was in the Netherlands, but then the owner extended it into the United States after I had already started selling them, after I had already done the patent research. I was like, there's no patent for these in the US. And then came on and kicked all the sellers off Amazon. I was actually stuck with like several hundred units, which is like thousands of dollars worth of inventory, but I'd already made a pretty good profit on it and then used that money to fund other private label products.
So let's talk about that first one, because there's not many opportunities I get to speak with someone like yourself and they actually share what it is they were selling. And there's a good reason for that, right? I mean, especially if you're an influencer, if you have a following of any sort, by putting exactly what you're doing out there, you're asking for trouble. You're going to get tons and tons.
Is on my channel, I'll do live streams and I'll do OA sourcing, like on tactical arbitrage or something like that. And I'll share with people like exactly the products I'm buying. I'm like, look, I'm going to buy like 100 units of this product and, it'll probably sell out in, a month or two. And then a lot of people that watch my channel, they'll come in and they'll buy the same products. I get emails all the time saying, hey, I watched your live stream the other day and I bought the same products that you did and now they're selling well. Thank you. So, but I don't like to share my private label products very much because, like you're going to say competition and getting a lot of people jumping on the same listing, copycats and stuff. But with arbitrage, it's not a big deal. And I found that a lot of people don't take my tips. Like, I'm telling you what to buy and people aren't doing it. But
that is one thing as well. I mean, a lot of people, half the battle with starting your own business, and I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, is just taking action, right? Like, absolutely. I'm not the brightest bulb out there. I mean, but I take a lot of action. And if you want to get results, you've got to get the tactical arbitrage going. You've got to run your scans. You've got to do your research. And that's a great segue into the inflatable couches. How did you come across that product? Because everybody's always trying to figure out, and we can talk about product research with Jungle Scout or however you do it, but how did you come across that initial first product? Because you had no experience. You didn't have any, maybe you saw people having success, but like, how did you actually get the balls and the confidence to you found it and then to invest in it? So we'll talk about how did you find that?
I actually found it in such a weird way. I had Jungle Scout. I had the web app. I was looking through it, but or did I have Jungle Scout? I don't even know if I had it back then. I don't know. I don't think I even had it. There was a program called TerraPeak, and it was for eBay.
Yep.
Right. So I got the free trial of that. I didn't even pay for it. I got the free trial, and I was just looking for stuff that sold well on eBay, and I stumbled upon it because I was actually looking at a similar product on Alibaba, and then that inflatable couch was like a recommended product on Alibaba, and I was like, okay. And so then I looked at the numbers, I was like, wow, that's actually a pretty good product. And I saw that the trend was really starting to pick up really fast, and I was like, I bet in like a couple months this is going to be a huge product. And I guessed the market, and I was right, just looking at all the numbers and stuff. But I mean, that just goes to show most people find really good selling products by accident sometimes, not by following the exact rules that everybody else says, or if you do things the way everybody else does, you're going to find the same products everybody else does. So you got to, do things a little differently. Like I said, I use TerraPeak. Most people that do Amazon don't use TerraPeak. They don't look at it because it's for eBay.
That's interesting.
But there's products on there. I found that actually trends that come to the United States from other countries hit eBay before they hit Amazon.
Really?
Yeah, because eBay is more an international, because you have all the international sellers selling on eBay, from China and stuff. And China always has the trends first, right? Because they're manufactured there. Then they go to, whatever country, maybe Europe or whatever first. And then they come to the United States. And that was the same trend with the fidget spinners. That was the trend with these
really
couches things. Yeah, so, I saw the fidget spinner trend and I could have got in on it, but I was like, these things are so stupid and they're going to burn out so fast. And I was right because they were just like if you look at Google Trends, right, it's just like, poof, and then it's just like 90-degree drop, like no one buys them anymore. But yeah, if you can spot trends early, that's the best way to get a private label going.
So Jordan, when you came across this trend, obviously on eBay, and then you checked Alibaba and it was recommended and whatnot, was there already people selling it on Amazon? Because it's kind of like the school of thought that I've understood from what the gurus or the people on YouTube or anyone kind of sharing like tips for like how to find products is they always share, most of them share like, don't try to like reinvent the wheel, like find a product that's already selling and then improve upon it or bundle it or create a variant or something like that. We're just outdoing with marketing sometimes if they don't have a lot of reviews. Was there already like a market on Amazon selling, or were you the first to bring it onto the market?
There was, but it was smaller compared to, and I've also found like if you can look at, the foreign versions, like you can look at Amazon in Germany, UK, and I was looking at the German market and I was looking at the trends were increasing for that product as well over there. And so, yes, there were sellers. There was probably only like 6 or 7 listings at the time that I initially bought the first inventory for the product. So there wasn't a ton. By the time my product got in stock and I was started to sell, there was already probably 400 or 500 listings. So they popped up overnight. Like within,
wait, 7 to 500 within a couple months?
No, within like a few weeks, like maybe like 6 weeks or so. 6 weeks or so. So like that's how you spot a trend is like if you can be the first one in there before everybody else.
Wow.
And that's exactly what happened. So I got, some initial reviews, and as you probably know, that's one of the most important like metrics for, building your listing up. So I got those initial reviews and then it just kept going up with everybody else's listings. But like that trend was pretty hot for a while. It's kind of died down obviously since the patent came in, but that was, spotting that early was very important.
So when you got when you got those products checked in, first of all, was it an oversized or was it just a standard?
I think they were standard. They were like, because they came in a little bag because you had to inflate them. So they were only like maybe this big, which is still pretty large, and they weighed like 1.5 pounds. So I air shipped the first shipment, but then I sea freight shipped the second.
Just to get it going.
To save some money and get it going.
So what were the numbers on that? If you remember, I know it was about a year ago, but I'm kind of curious, like just a rough like.
Well, I remember the numbers. I think pretty closely. I was buying them, I think for maybe $5 a pop. And
off Alibaba.
Yeah, off Alibaba. And the thing was, I wasn't changing anything. Like they're pretty unique. There wasn't really. I mean, some people had little pockets and cup holders, and I did the same thing. I put little pockets on the side of cup holders, just trying to change little things and stuff. I think I had 5 different colors, just had my logo slapped on them, nothing special. They cost me, like I said, $5, and then it was like $3 a unit, including shipping. So I probably landed them in Amazon for $7.50. And then I was selling them. I mean, the thing is, when you get a new trend, you kind of just pick whatever price you want, and people pay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was selling them when I first started, $60 is what they were going for.
Wow.
And then towards the end, as more competition poured in, the prices kind of came down to a more reasonable around like $30, which was still really profitable. But that price range was very large, especially at first. There was some of my competitors were selling for $120, and I'm like, no one's gonna pay that but they were still selling them, and it was crazy.
So what was your strategy? I know the game has changed in terms of like reviews and stuff. I'm not sure how much has changed in the last year or so, but what was your plan for like reviews and stuff with that product? And I know we're diving like deep into this product, but again, most people don't share since you're able to. So I'm like really, really curious, and to kind of build context for everybody, like how many reviews did you get? Like what was your game plan with that? Because, a lot of people, you can find a product that's really good, but if there's competition, you don't have any reviews, or your picture's not good, if you don't have keywords, it's not going to sell.
Exactly. To be honest, my pictures were not that good. I took them with my smartphone. I inflated them. Okay, I inflated them, put them on my couch, right, and put like a white sheet over it so I could Photoshop the background out, and took it with my phone. So like bad pictures, bad quality pictures. But as far as the review goes, this was back when Amazon let you give away products in exchange for reviews, which you can't do anymore. And I used a program called Review Kick, which is now called JumpSend. And so basically just listed coupons on there. And what's great is I was selling, the coupon was for like half off, but even at half off, I was still making like $2 or $3 profit. So I was getting reviews in exchange for those coupons for half off, still making money on those reviews. And then I was able to get like, I think I had like maybe 20 to 50 reviews.
Oh, wow.
By the time that, I got kicked off the whole listing.
Jeez. Wow, cool. Well, definitely thanks for sharing that. So where are you now today with your private label business to kind of build some understanding of where you've come over the last year or so for the people who are listening right now?
For sure. So like now I'm actually working on something pretty cool for next year. I have been working specifically, and I won't say exactly what, but it's in the toy category because I'm a kid at heart. I love toys. I don't know. So I'm developing a toy brand that is an entire line of different variations of kind of the same thing. So my goal for next year, maybe the next year after, is to grow that to $1 million alone in revenue, just that brand alone, excluding all my other stuff that I sell, and then ideally sell that brand to a larger company. So
that's cool.
That's what I'm looking at doing now. I currently have a couple of variations already selling, and they're selling really, really well. 50, 60 units a day of each variation.
Jeez.
And I mean, crazy returns. I think I've got like over 150% ROI on each of these. So I mean,
no way. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the thing is, the reason it's selling so well is because it's not anything you can find anywhere else. So I actually designed this product. I drew it up,
Really?
I took my engineering mind a little bit and designed some stuff in 3D modeling and rendering and sent this off to a manufacturer that makes similar products. I was like, can you guys make this? And they're like, maybe. And so they went through a few samples. First sample was terrible. And so I was like, you got to improve this. And, after about a month or two of back and forth with the samples and stuff, they sent me something that was really, really good. And I was like, this is going to work. Let's do this. We'll go ahead and order 500 units. Those 500 units sold within like a couple months. And then I ordered 2,000 units just for December. And I'm already, a week into December, and I'm probably going to run out of stock on those. So
holy crap.
Yeah. And I get that that's Q4, and I get that it's a toy, but even before Q4, because I've been selling this for about 6 months, they were still selling really well. So that is an indicator to me that this toy line could go very, very large.
Now, I'm gonna try to ask you some questions and be smart about the questions to not give away anything. So just understand, I'm not gonna hit you in the blind spot, but is this toy, because I know you mentioned it's not like anything else, but like I'm trying to think, because I'm sure there's people out there who are like, okay, maybe I have an engineering mind, or I've got an idea or something. Like, did you take a current line and like maybe put a spin on it or improve upon it, or did you just take kind of like you said you're a kid at heart and like just you found something like I don't know, you just had an idea and you're like, I wish this existed, and it didn't?
It was kind of a mix of both. Like I can't really put my finger on exactly what inspired it, to be honest. But like I saw something, and I don't remember what it was, and I just started thinking. I do a lot of thinking. I'm going to tell you right now, I do a lot of thinking. Most of my days, I just sit with like a notebook open and just jot my ideas down and stuff. So like,
really,
like honestly, hours. I'll spend several hours a day just thinking and pondering about different ideas and stuff. And then I'll come back maybe a month or two later, go through that notebook, be like, were any of these ideas actually good? And that was one that came across to me again, and I was like, that is a good idea. I'm going to see if I can roll with it. So to be honest, I'm not sure exactly what kind of sparked that, because like I said, jot down a lot of stuff, but I just came back to it, and I was like, I think that could be a good idea, So, I was looking at all sorts of different stuff in the toy. I was looking at, have you ever seen those little marble racers?
Yeah.
I was looking at like the wooden train sets and stuff like that. But then this was even more original. It's something that hadn't really been done. So I was like, yeah, I'll try that. I was in a pretty good place financially because with all my other products, and I was like, I can afford to take a loss if this thing like doesn't work at all. But it would be fun to try.
Do you take a lot of risks in your business? Like, I think it was Jeff Bezos. I was watching one of his previous interviews, and he was talking about like kind of inventing new things and stuff. And he's like, listen, like a lot of the things that Amazon tries like actually fail, but they're always like trying new things and experimenting. And it's like, people always want to innovate, but they don't want to take a risk. Do you find yourself in your private label business taking a lot of risks and kind of just trying like weird little things out? And you're like, because people want to innovate, but they try things that they know will work, When you
Yeah,
truly
exactly.
innovate, you're trying things that you don't have any idea how it's going to work.
Exactly. And that goes back to risk versus reward. And when you're first starting, you don't want to take risks. I'm going to tell you right now, like
Hmm.
you don't want to gamble when you have no money. When you have an established business and you're making more money than you can spend on products, that's the time where you're like, I'm going to change something. I'm going to innovate. I'm going to, change the market entirely. And that's what Bezos does, obviously, and yeah, a lot of his products do suck and they fail. Like, what was little Amazon buttons, right? Those
Did,
things are terrible, man. Like no one
I've
buys
seen.
them.
Have you ever tried one?
I never have
I've
tried
seen.
one. I've seen
I haven't
reviews
either.
and they're just, but that just goes to show like not every good idea you have is a good idea. And I've had several products. I tried to sell, here's another failed product I had, spaghetti racks, right? That you hang your cooked
Hmm.
spaghetti on, or I'm sorry, you hang your spaghetti that you make by hand on, and then it like hardens on the racks, right? But
Huh.
those just didn't sell well for me and that didn't work out. So like, lots of different things that I've tried over the year and, some things work out, some things didn't. This one it did work out.
What do you think the biggest mistake is that people make, or maybe if you look back at the spaghetti racks or any other failed PL products you've had, what do you think the biggest mistake is when someone's brand new, trying to private label, trying to get their first product in the Amazon warehouse to sell? What do you notice is the biggest mistake?
It's probably trying to copy paste another seller. And that's what a lot of people do. I mean, that's what I've done in the past is when you don't put any spin on it, when you're just selling exactly what everybody else is, then you're in the same pot as everybody else. And the only way you're going to get sales is either price or having a better quality listing. And people can make better quality listings. People can always get a cheaper price. So the biggest mistake that I see is people just trying to take the easy way out, I guess, and just being like, oh, I mean, I've seen listings on Amazon that were the same product that were actually like someone copied the description, changed a few words, and then put, and it's just like, you can't do that. I mean, sure you can, and you might make a few sales, especially if it's a hot product, but like that's not going to last. That's not sustainable. That's not a sustainable business plan to launch products.
And a lot of people are concerned about the competition with Amazon. I must agree. There's going to be a lot more competition coming in, which is cool because there's tons and tons more customers coming in. But just to kind of touch on your point, copy and paste used to work really well. There was a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people, and
Oh
it
yeah.
still does. But with the amount of people who, private labels definitely starting to become mainstream. Not mainstream, but like 3 or 4 years ago, like, because I've been on YouTube 5 years, like nobody was talking about it, and like now everybody's talking about it. And I think it just means, and I like your thought on it. I think all it means is you just have to keep taking an extra step forward, whether it's bundling or improving upon or innovating. What are your thoughts in terms of, someone's the private label? Would you rather, if you could only give somebody one option, either bundle or improve, what would that be for you?
It'll improve every time. Bundling's cool when it works. If you bundle a product with something that makes sense to go with it, but improving the product, improving on its negatives is always, in my opinion, a better option. If you have the opportunity to do both, then obviously do that. But improving is always going to be the way to go. And the thing is, Amazon is just another business. Like this is a business, and that's what businesses do. And if you look at Coca-Cola, which is like one of the oldest businesses around, they're always improving their everything. Their logos, their marketing, their recipes, their what they're selling. Expanding into new markets and stuff like that. You have to constantly be evolving and expanding and changing and trying to always have an edge in your competition, make things a little bit better if you ever want to be successful.
How do you go about determining what to improve upon a product? Say you come across a watermelon slicer and you want to improve upon that somehow. What's your actual process? Are you going through reviews? Are you like just kind of share your
Yeah.
mindset on how to figure out how to improve?
Yeah, I'll definitely go through reviews. That's one of the best ways. You go to the listing and click 1-star reviews, 2-star, even 3 or 4 stars, because the 3-star reviews are always great because it means that they like the product, but there was something bad about it that made them not give it, 4 or 5 stars. So those are the ones I'll check out, first. And then I'll look at all the listings for that particular, if it was a watermelon slicer, which I definitely wouldn't do. Way too many people sell watermelon slices. But I'll look at the 3-star reviews for like all of the listings. What was bad? If it's, it dulls quickly. Well, maybe use a higher grade of steel, maybe pay an extra, 50 cents a unit to get a higher grade of steel from your manufacturers. Stuff that's not going to dull as fast. If they're like the handle is sticky, maybe use a different kind of plastic, all sorts of different things that you can get from these reviews. Other than that, look and see on Alibaba what their options are. Most people, they just message a supplier. They're like, hey, can you make this for me? And they're like, yeah, sure. Don't do that. Message them and be like, hey, what options do you have for this product? What add-ons could you do? Can you improve on this product? Can you use a higher grade of materials, make this product, better? And most of the time, like, yeah, but it's going to cost you more. Okay, that's fine. I'm already getting 200% ROI. I don't care to take another, 50 cents a unit hit if I'm going to be able to sell, outsell everybody on the market.
Do you think a lot of like based on your research because I know you're probably always researching new ideas and kind of looking at the market, would you say as a whole, and we're going to generalize like crazy here, but if you were to take Amazon as a big pie and we're going to just talk people who are private labeling products, would you say that most people, or maybe you could give a percent, what percent of products on Amazon are just cookie cutter copy paste versus like people who are actually out there innovating in your mind?
Very, very large percentage are cookie cutters. And that's because people still think you can, because people are looking at, YouTube videos or stuff that were made 3 or 4 years ago. And they're like, oh, all you have to do is just do this. You got to stick with the times and see what's going on now. So, and the thing is, a lot of, foreign people are coming into the market and they're selling their stuff and they're making, because English isn't their first language, so they're making these really bad listings, just not properly grammar and bad pictures, like stock images and stuff. And I see a lot of those popping up here and there all the time. So that's something that's flooding the market, and people freak out about that. They're like, oh, more sellers. And it's like, but they're bad quality sellers. Like, I don't even count people like that. Like, if I see a listing that's like that, I don't even count that as competition, because it's like, obviously my listing is going to be so much better than that it doesn't, there's no competition there, so I don't worry about those people like that.
Yeah, and Amazon's really good at boosting people who are converting. Like, Amazon's like a conversion machine. Like, if you get 100 people to go to your listing and nobody buys, like, you're going to get pushed down so quick, right? So, I mean, like, people aren't going to be clicking. They're going to be seeing the listing, but no one's going to be clicking on it. And if they do, it's not going to convert. So, I mean, that's definitely good advice right there. Alibaba, is that the main place you're going? Because, again, Alibaba, it seems like everybody's going there. Is that a problem? Is there something better that people should be doing? What is your opinion in terms of, like, okay, someone finds a PL product that they want to, put on Amazon. What are some of the options for sourcing products?
There's 1688, which is like the, Chinese version of Alibaba people go to and stuff. I never use it. And here's why, because I go to Alibaba is just a list of suppliers, right? They're all different companies. So,
interesting.
There's not a big deal with a lot of people using that website, because what I do is I come in and I ask for a very specific kind of product, or like I said, an improved upon version that either no one else has thought of before, or everybody's too scared to even try to make that improvement or whatever. And so even though I'm using the same manufacturer as probably, all the other sellers, they're making me a different version of the product. So it doesn't really matter that everybody's using Alibaba. I think it's a great resource, because it's really one of a kind. The creator, Jack Ma, he's, super intuitive.
Oh, he's amazing.
Very, very, very smart guy. So, I don't mind using the platform for pretty much all my private label. Yeah, all my private labels come from Alibaba. I found the manufacturer on Alibaba, I guess I should say.
What's one thing you hate about private label? Because we talked about a lot of, the good things. We've talked about this. Well, I've talked about it tons of times. I'm sure you have as well. Everyone knows why they want to do private label: income opportunities, freedom, the FBA program, traveling. There's so many benefits to it, building a brand. What do you not like about private label?
I don't like it for the same reason that I do like it, and that is having to build a brand. If you want brand recognition, you have to put in the work to get brand recognition. If no one knows your brand, they're not gonna buy from you. So getting your brand name out there is hard and difficult, but it's worth it if you do it right. So that's where I'm at now moving forward. Another big thing is just like, especially when you're starting, and that's kind of what I hinted on earlier, is putting all your eggs in one basket. If you don't already have a solid set of really good selling products, whether it be OA, wholesale, RA, or even other PLs, then you are putting all of your money into one product, and that's very risky. So, that would probably be the biggest pitfall. But I really think that if you already have a good set of selling products, whether it be OA or whatever, you should absolutely try a PL. You should get out there and make a brand and, actually build a brand. So many people are like, I can't find a product. And I'm like, instead of finding product, You need to find a niche, right? You need to find a niche and build a brand around that niche. You need to become the dominant seller of that niche. You don't find one product, find a whole niche of products.
When you say find a niche, what's the difference between finding a niche and then finding like a tribe of people you want to serve? Or is that the same thing?
That's kind of what I mean. Because, like, for example, a niche could be like, if we go back to that spaghetti rack, it could be just like pasta making, pasta making at home would be a niche. And you'd have people that are interested in that. So that group of people would be considered the niche of people. And then those products would be the niche of products. So when I say look for a niche, I mean, look for both, it's easy to find the products first. And then you want to make sure that there's a group of people backing. Obviously you can see if the products are selling well on Amazon, there obviously are people buying them. But then where those people hang out, you can always go post a link to your product after it's live in like a spaghetti forum, be like, whoa, this new, spaghetti pasta maker, it does this cool thing that none of the other pasta makers do. And that's, again, why you should improve on your products, because then you can say things like that. If you post in a forum, you're like, hey, here's just another pasta maker, nothing special about it. No one's going to want to buy it. But if if it's got this cool design where it makes the pastas go like this, then people might want to buy that.
What are some things that you do to promote your products? Obviously there's a lot of people like to sell on Amazon because there's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 billion views a month. I think it's something crazy like that.
It's insane.
So there's a lot of organic reach on Amazon. But when you first launch a product, are you running Facebook ads, posting in forums, PPC on Amazon? Like, what are some basic things needs to be doing when they launch a product, or maybe they don't?
Yeah. I mean, to be completely transparent, I don't really run many ads. I've done a few Facebook ads just for my brand, but I honestly, I don't even utilize Amazon pay-per-click ads that
much.
It goes back to finding the right product. If you find the right product and you put it in front of the right people, and if you put it on Amazon, it's already in front of the right people. Amazon is made to put products in front of people that they know they'll buy that product. Let Amazon do the heavy lifting. Let Amazon do the marketing. I get on my homepage of Amazon and I see dozens of products that I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I want to buy. And then I'll just go buy the whole homepage or whatever. But you get what I'm saying? They're really, really good, and they have these really advanced marketing algorithms that I don't even understand. And it's like, why would I want to go and try to do my own thing over here when it's like Amazon's made to do exactly that? As long as I make a good quality product that when people come to the listing and read through it, see the pictures, they want to buy it, Amazon's going to do all the hard lifting for me.
What's the best way for someone to get started with private label in 2017, moving into 2018? The new year's coming. There's going to be a lot of people having, New Year's resolutions. They want to get out of, there's a lot of people that watch my channel, Jordan, and they're thrifting from Goodwills and Savers and Salvation Armies, and they're doing OA, but they really want to build their own brand, have more control. But there's so many different stages to starting a private label business. I mean, for you and I, we know these things. We've talked to enough people. You've gone through the process multiple times. How can the average person who has no idea, even what Alibaba is, or they don't understand, different things like Jungle Scout and finding a product, what's the best way to get started, on a budget?
It's like you said earlier, you got to just do it. So many people are scared of taking action, and I'm not going to be super vague like that. I'm actually going to give you a legitimate answer.
That's the next question.
Right. But I would say, I think Jungle Scout is a very, very powerful program. I actually, talked with Greg Mercer not too long ago, and they're always improving the program, finding more products to add to it and stuff like that. So I think it's a very powerful program, the web app. But more importantly is follow the rabbit holes. And that's what I always do when I find products. Rarely do I find something directly on the web app that I end up selling. But I'll find a product that's similar, and then I'll look at that product, and then maybe in the related products on that listing, it'll have this other product. I'm like, that's interesting. Then I'll click on that, go through, and as you can see, you follow these little holes down, and eventually you might find a really, really good product. It's not anywhere to be seen on Jungle Scout, because either it hasn't been indexed yet, or it's new, or the data's outdated, or whatever. There's reasons that it might not be there, but it's a really, really good selling product. And so rarely do I find things directly off of Jungle Scout, but I absolutely use it to find leads for these little holes that I fall down into. Another great way is to just go to Alibaba and look at their hot selling products. Because like I said, the trends start there. The trends always start in China, because that's where the manufacturers are.
Awesome. Good tips. So at the end of the day, just get started, make that commitment, get Jungle Scout. Obviously, you could watch YouTube videos. And if you guys aren't already, I want to shout out his channel one more time. Jordan does have a YouTube channel. He's about to hit 100,000 subscribers, which is just, next time we talk, man, you're going to have that plaque. I feel like it's going to be like right behind you, maybe. I don't know, but
I hope so.
Subscribe to him. There's going to be links down below, not only for his YouTube, which is Millionaire Millennial, but his Instagram, Snapchat as well. Are you Millionaire Millennial like on all platforms?
I'm actually not.
Man, you're Brandon, dude.
I'm different.
I'm just
I know.
kidding. I'm just joking.
I'm trying to build up my own personal name as well as Millionaire Millennial. So on Instagram, I'm actually Joko Serious Jordan, which half joking, half serious, all the time. And then I think on Snapchat, it's just like Jordan.Kilburn.
Sure. Well, I'll link it all up down below as well, because there's always people looking to follow like-minded people. And I think that's a great way to kind of get started. I mean, I'm sure you hit tons of, stumbling blocks, but I'm sure you had people that you could connect with or bounce ideas off of. So you want to be a part of a community, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, to kind of bounce those ideas off one another, because it could be a lonely place sometimes, right? I mean, running a private label business and, I'm sure you're just inside your apartment or your condo for hours at a time, just researching and doing your own thing. So, I mean, that community is definitely huge right there. Got a couple more questions for you, Jordan, and we're going to wrap things up. What are your thoughts on the long-term sustainability and the growth opportunity with private label? Is this something that's going to be, a fidget spinner type of business model where it's here and gone the next day? I mean, private label, do you see it being around 5, 10, 15 years, or are people going to stop creating brands overnight?
I really don't think that's going to happen.
There's no sarcasm there at all.
No, right. The thing is, it's everybody treats Amazon like it's the next big new thing. Really, it's just a business, and business has been around for hundreds of years. Nothing's really changed. Just the way we do business has changed. The platforms that we use to sell our products has changed. Instead of setting up a table at a flea market, right, we can put our products on the internet with pictures and text to go along with them. So it's just the way that we sell is changing, not what we sell or how we sell, but the platforms we use. So, if Amazon, so first off, Amazon is going to very likely be the largest retailer in the world in less than a couple of years. Along with that, any sellers that are selling the private label brands are just going to continue to grow as Amazon acquires more and more customers. So that's where I see Amazon going, and then probably staying up there for quite some time. Will Amazon last forever? Who knows? And more importantly, who cares? Because there will be another platform that will rise up, either out of the ashes of Amazon or whatever. It's going to be Walmart, I know, is looking to open their third-party network a little wider for people to jump on and sell there. You've got Jet. You've got all sorts of, Shopify or whatever. There's always going to be platforms to sell your products. So the very, very important thing is to build brand recognition. Because if Amazon goes down, you still have your brand, right? People are still going to be looking for your brand. They're going to be like, oh, what happened to this brand? They were only selling on Amazon. So again, diversify, sell your brand on different platforms if you can, make a website, whatever. Just build rapport with your customers so that if anything were to happen to Amazon, which again, I really, really highly doubt anything's going to happen. If anything, it's going to keep going up. But if anything did, then you're fine.
Awesome. Great advice right there. I want to ask you, what do you think's maybe one or two most important routines or rituals that you practice every day that help you to continue to grow your business? Like for me, one of them is my health. I've lost over 30 pounds this year, and it's really helped me to kind of have a better mindset and have more energy to run my business. So it's kind of going to the gym every morning is like a big thing for me. Even though it's outside of entrepreneurship, it really links up closely. For you, what are one or two things that you do kind of every day that really helps? And I already know you mentioned a really, really good one earlier with the jotting ideas down, which I don't know if you do that every day, but I thought that was genius. What are some other things you do?
So yeah, I do a lot of thinking throughout the day in the notebook and jotting ideas down, not just with Amazon, YouTube or maybe other business ideas that I have that I want to start, real estate investing. There's all sorts of things going on up here, and I try to put them down whenever they pop up. So I mean, that's definitely one. Like you said, exercise. You say it's not really part of being an entrepreneur, but it 100% is, because that is how you keep your mind sharp and your body sharper. When you exercise, you get all those chemicals going in your brain, and you think clearer, you're smarter, more fluid throughout the day.
That's true, yeah.
Absolutely, exercise is super duper important. I'll be lazy some days, honestly, and not go to the gym.
Sure.
Yeah, and I can feel slower. Like you feel like more bogged down. You're like, I'm lazy. I don't want to do this, And that's okay every now and then. But like when you get into a routine of laziness, then you get nothing accomplished. So, I would say I'm not really personally for, daily rituals of doing the same thing every day. That's why I quit my job. But like, as far as like keeping up with your health, like you're saying, is absolutely imperative. I actually more live seasonally. So I'll do like really, really hard work for several months, and then I'll like kind of reap the rewards for that work for a few months. Then I might take, a few months off and just relax, and then I'll get back to it. So, it's not like, and it's a really good way so you don't get burnt out, and I think that's a huge problem with entrepreneurs is they love their work. They're working 60, 70 hours, and then they're like fall on the ground dead, because they're just like exhausted. So working in seasons has been really, really helpful for me. And it makes sense, with retail being also in seasons, Q4, et cetera, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, as far as daily rituals, I really don't have a ton of them. I kind of do whatever needs to be done on any given day, just kind of go with the flow.
So you don't really like have a set schedule where you wake up at a certain time and you go to bed, or like some people like kind of like to close off the chapter and be like, all right, I'm not working after 5 o'clock. Do you kind of just whatever you have to do, or
I don't do anything
based on your energy?
Some days I'll wake up at 7 or maybe earlier, and other days I'll sleep in until 9 or 10. So I mean, just depends on what I did the night before, whether I was up late doing something, or whether I got to bed early, or if I was tired. Like I let my body tell me like when to wake up and when to go to sleep. And so, most people will find a rhythm, but I don't, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's mostly just like kind of wake up, if I've got some great ideas or something, I got my notebook always right next to my bed on my nightstand. So, maybe jot some things down and then just be like, what do I need to get done today? And then, go do it, have some breakfast, go to the gym, stuff like that.
And do you only start jotting it? Because I'm kind of mesmerized by your idea of like jotting things down in the notebook. Because I noticed like whenever I take time to do that, like magical things just start to happen. Like,
Absolutely.
is this only when like maybe you have an idea that you or there's something you're thinking about, like the toy brand was on your mind, you had that idea and you started like going crazy, like jotting all these things down? Or is this kind of just a ritual where you say to yourself, like you're kind of blank in your mind and you're like, I want to just start writing and ask myself questions and answering them? Like, how does that work?
So sometimes I've got a few notebooks, honestly. I've got a structured notebook, which is like what I use if I'm like trying to plan something, like if I'm working on like a new teaching program or working on a new idea for a YouTube video or whatever. I'll have, a few pages reserved for just like trying to organize that. And then I've got like my random thoughts notebook, which is just like, if I think of something that could be cool, then I'll write it down, So it depends on the thought,
right,
which notebook I put it in. But yeah, I mean, it's mostly just, almost anything I feel like could be a good idea, I'll write it down, and then I'll revisit the notebook, as well. Maybe a couple months, I'll flip back. Yeah. What was I thinking about, a few weeks ago? Is that still a viable idea, or is that just something stupid? And then like, if it's dumb, I'll just like put a line through it. And if it was a good idea, then I'll circle it and then maybe rewrite it down. And then if I flip through the book, a few months later, I'll notice the same trend popping back up because it just keeps popping back in my head. And then I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And then I'll just like go after that idea.
What's funny? It's almost like I've done a lot of dumb things over the last 5 years working for myself, like really, really dumb things where I like took a lot of action on it. And I'm like, this was the stupidest thing I've ever done. And like, it's so easy to like almost be brainwashed or just be convinced that it's a great idea when like, do you let these ideas simmer for a little bit before, or do you ever get inspired and take massive action that you're working like 10 hours straight just off a straight idea?
It depends. If it's going to be really lengthy or really costly, I'll let it simmer for a while. Okay. I'm a very I like taking risks, but I like taking very calculated risks. Engineer brain, I guess. Again, it's I'll calculate. It's like, what are the odds of this actually working out? And then I'll run the numbers. I love running the numbers, and I do that. I do that in a lot of my YouTube videos. And I'm like, let's run the numbers. But so any idea I have, if it's just like a really easy idea that I could probably just pop out, if it's like, oh, I should make a web page about this, then, that'll take me like an hour. I might as well do it. But if it's something big, like launching a toy brand, it's going to cost me, tens of thousands of dollars to get off the ground. That's not something I'm going to do on a whim. think of that idea, keep that idea, I usually don't tell anybody about it, not even my close friends or family, until I actually decide for myself it's a good idea. Then I might start asking other people, like, hey, what do you think of this? Because like you said, you don't want to get brainwashed by yourself thinking that you have this great idea when it's just terrible. So, ask people that you trust not to steal your idea, and ask them if it's a good idea for them and what they think of it, and take their critiques seriously.
Cool. Awesome advice. So, Jordan, any final words of wisdom for anybody who are watching? Maybe they're inspired for private label or they just like your story. Obviously, all your information is going to be linked down below to follow you. But anything else you'd like to say to the people who are listening on iTunes and then watching on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, mostly it's like we said a few times already, just take action, just do something, I feel like most people, they feel like they have to take huge action, like they have to do this big thing, or they're like, man, I need to, launch this huge product or whatever. It's like, no, you don't. You just need to do one little thing today. Just do one little thing today. You don't have to find a product today. You don't have to, do this, but how about you just get Jungle Scout and just look through one or two pages. Like, that's not a big deal. Just do something. And the thing is, when you start doing something, you get into the habit of doing things. And like, that's what success comes from. It comes from doing things. So even if you're just doing really little small things, really, really like 5-minute tasks, but you start doing those every single day, then those 5 minutes turn into 10, turn into an hour, 2 hours. Next thing you know, you're up until 1 a.m. doing all sorts of crazy things that's, gonna make you super successful. But it starts with just start doing one little thing, just 5 minutes. Just find something that you can do for 5 minutes every day.
And that's how people get lucky. They start doing things and, results start coming and then you learn and you improve. And, next thing you know, you're launching your own toy brand. And maybe
a lot of people say that I got lucky. And, like, oh, it was just luck was on your side. And it's like, no, it's because I did so many different things. It was statistically impossible for me to fail in every single one of the different things I tried. So, like, was it luck? No, it was just basic statistics. Like, if you do something and enough things, like enough different things, eventually something's going to work. So, it's just take action, do something little.
Man, so I was just in Vegas, man, and do you ever play roulette?
No, I actually haven't. I haven't gambled at all. That's why I'm excited to go.
Yeah, man, I was playing roulette for all the roulette players out there. There was like 6 reds in a row, and I was hoping for black, and I just kept betting and doubling down and doubling down. There was 11 in a row, and I ran out of money in my wallet, and I'm like, crap. I'm like, how could 11 hit in a row? How can the statistics, how could it keep going? But, eventually, I mean, you're right. I mean, you can't fail forever. The roulette, you can't spin 11 58 times in a row. Maybe someone's done it, but eventually it's going to go black, so lessons learned here. Take action. Don't blow all your money in Vegas, and go subscribe to Jordan. Millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, man, appreciate you coming on. Again, guys, all his information is going to be linked down below. Go follow him. He's got really, really good content. I like that you're really like, you dive into the numbers and you're very methodical and you kind of go inside. You go real deep into the specifics, which is really, it's very, very beneficial. So great YouTube channel, great guy. Appreciate you coming on, man. And
thanks for having me too.
Appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon. Thanks for coming on.